going to go kind of coincide with consultant image. I'm going to talk to you about body language and communication skills for the next few minutes. So often we don't think about what our body language is portraying about us. And there's actually a term, it's called kinesics. And that is how our body and our facial expression communicates what we're thinking. So my idea with this is to kind of give you some insight into how are you holding yourself. We're going to talk about posture, and we're going to talk about just regular facial gestures. So I want you to think about this. And, you know, honestly, I even think about this in church. And this is our goal for you, that no matter where you are and what you're doing, that you will think of some of this training. Because when your arms are crossed like this, and if you go to an interview and the person is sitting like this, good luck. Because that's a pretty closed, you know, here I sit, I'm really not interested. So in church, I try not to do that, you know, because really this is not very welcoming. So, hands at your side, relaxed, and maybe even folded in front of you is a far more professional, open way for you to stand anywhere rather than this. This is really not good, so be careful with that. Biting your lip or picking at your lip, that's a sign of, you know, I'm nervous, I don't really trust you, so kind of watch if you do something like that. Resting your hand like this, it's like, oh, sure. Now what? Show me. And if you know, one of the things in training, like when we encourage you to get people in front of us to do an interview, we like you to watch our body language. And I like you to watch the other person's body language. And as you kind of grow in your business, you're going to see that, and if you went back now and watched the video of me interviewing Carrie, I hope, I don't even know because I haven't watched it, but I hope I was sitting back in my seat. Because when you're sitting back, you're not aggressively talking, you're just kind of sitting there and you're like, okay, I'm listening. But then when I'm going to come in and do that close, as we would call it, I'm going to sit forward and be more aggressive with my body language. Because I've given information, and now I'm going to ask the question. So when you're, even in a skincare class, when you're doing a closing at the end, those are good things to remember. Posture, just very quickly. Good posture, head erect, chin parallel to the floor. Think tall. You may not be tall, but think tall. Because there's nothing more important than you projecting confidence with your posture. And think of it. Think of it when you're not feeling real confident. And that's why I think the whole Mary Kay dress code is smart. Because ladies, we sit differently in a skirt than we do in pants. And I think that just helps us be more professional when we're wearing our skirt. And when you're seated with a skirt, and I won't do that here, but you want to, you know, sit in the center of a chair. Crossing knees, I mean, that's something I do, but you're better crossing at the ankle. That's more professional. Hands rested on your lap. So think of those types of things when you're in a group of people, or if you're sitting waiting for guests to come to a party, look the part of a professional beauty consultant. Okay? Facial expression, you guys. That is a really big deal. And again, I'm going to bring you back to church. When I'm in church, can you imagine a pastor looking out at his congregation, the different faces he sees? What is your natural resting expression? If it's a grimace, fix it. Because do you ever have people, or have you ever had people say, "Are you okay?" And you're, "Well, yes, of course, I'm fine. Why do you ask?" "Well, I don't know, you look like you're mad." Or, "What's on your face?" So if you can get practice, just not a goofy, like, smile, but a nice, pleasant, just turned up at the lips. Think of that all the time. Think of that in your car. Because, you know, again, in a pink car, everybody, apparently I play piano on my steering wheel. I mean, Dale's noticed that. I don't know I do that. Not real professional. I'm trying to stop that, but, you know, it's a bad habit. Must be nerves. I don't know. But watch what you do and think when you're sitting out in the audience. Because even for us up here, you know, it's very interesting because we can see personalities depending on what's going on in the meeting. If you're an I personality and you're the life of the party and we're talking money management, boom. It's like that. And I'm going to be talking it, so I'm going to be looking at you. So there you go. Okay, so that's enough on that. Now let's just talk body language real quick. And I have to be quick. Making eye contact. Very, very important when you're talking to anybody anytime. Make eye contact. Don't be looking away. Don't look up. Practice that right eye to right eye contact. Nodding occasionally. Good job, Jennifer. She's nodding. That's a good thing to do too, you know, just in agreement. We already talked about hands in front of you. Try not to have nervous tics. I mean, if you find yourself, you know, when you're nervous doing something, try to be aware of that and try to contain that if you can. And actually mirroring the other person is a great way for good communication, that she says, oh, she's kind of doing what I'm doing. I mean, if she leans back on one foot, you lean back on one foot. A lot of that mirroring helps with communication and trust in a relationship. Let's talk about speaking. Think before you speak. Joyce Meyer has a great book called Tame the Tongue, because our tongue is the strongest muscle in our body. And honestly, we have all done it, where we think, boy, I wish I could suck that back in. So these are the things I want you to write down before you speak. Think. T-H-I-N-K. Is it true? And by that I mean, you didn't Google it. Is it true? Before you say something about someone, did it come from that person? Or was it he said, she said, then you said? Is it true? Number 2, is it helpful? Is what you're about to say helpful in this situation at all? Is it going to help her? Is it going to help you? Why would you say it? Number 3, is it inspiring? Is it a positive something that someone needs to hear? Number 4, is it necessary? And last but not least, is it kind? All good things to think about before you open your mouth. So much of what we say is perception. We may think that we are as clear as crystal clear glass. To the person hearing it, we may be as clear as mud. And I think one of the things is you want to practice being specific in your speech, if that makes sense. You all know, and we all have a tendency sometimes to ramble. And I'm a good rambler on voicemail, and it's really a bad habit because I'll talk until the thing is done. And that's not necessarily, I mean, with people I know, not a great habit. You know, really be concise, get to the point for the purpose of your call. Because people will listen more actively to you when you do that. I mean, if you're a rambler, I mean, really, right now, I'll just say, you all have a friend who rambles. You either set the phone down and go do something else, or you put it on speaker and go do something else, or you're just zoned out and you really hear nothing she says. Don't be that person. Be concise, okay? Part of all of this is just practice active listening, because we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so practice that. Okay, just a couple more things on communication.